Welcome to yet another episode of Wise Wednesday. We are on our fifth episode today with none other than Dr. TV Sairam, a very esteemed uh, thinker, writer. I would call him a scientist because that's the way he approaches every subject of study. And Dr. Sairam has done a tremendous amount of work in this area of music therapy as one of the branches we've chosen to talk to him because uh, this alone is a segment that can take like an entire series for us. So, Dr. Sairam, welcome to Wise Wednesday and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for taking interest in our jobs and works and all that. And it's very nice to find some people at least read some of my books and all that. So I think you've done more than that. You've done more justice to my books, and I'm very grateful that you could go through those books and all that. Thank you very much. And
So,
invite.
you started writing at what age? When did you start writing? Were you writing as a little boy or?
Yes, I started very early age, maybe at 7 or 8. In my school, I used to make cartoons of my teachers, and then I used to write some magazine, handwritten magazine, when I was 9 year old. So that used to be circulated among the fellow classmates, and then once I was caught, and then I was bashed. Then my interest in writing went multiple from that. So I think that's why you asked a wise person to come to the wise Wednesday. So perhaps I am fit to be a wise for wise Wednesday rather than wise Wednesday. Thank you.
So you have many interests. So after you retired from the civil services, you really started writing with a passion. And one of the themes that the first time I got introduced to you, Dr. Sairam, through this amazing book, a collection of three books that I have in our library, Home Remedies. But I believe you wrote four books on this theme.
Yes, yes. There is one more volume because, for the reasons best known, the publisher didn't include this in that box because it was not fitting. Four books could not be fitted, so they had made a lot of boxes. So they boxed the other three, but left the fourth one behind.
Oh, so that is to do for me to get the fourth book of the in the series. And then another book that I have, which is autographed by you, is this one called Self Music Therapy. And I remember meeting you almost a decade ago when you were telling me about the Nada Center that you had started, and there were already some work that Nada Center for Music Therapy had started doing. So tell us about the founding of the Nada Center, and where are you right now vis-a-vis the center?
Uh, Actually, nowadays, the center has no meaning with the invasions of technology. Wherever you are, that becomes your center. So in my case, right now I'm in Bangalore, but the Nada Center registered in Chennai, and actually most of the activities are done in New Delhi. So all through the computer system. So like right now, the same way we have adopted for interaction, and it's somehow working well. It's all digital now, including our training programs. All are done through email exchange and digitally.
So now the center is targeted to whom? Who are really the patrons or the beneficiaries of the work that Nada Center does, Dr. Saira?
Actually, it is a very large canvas, and that's why probably the efficacy is less, because we want to target the whole world, actually, the whole suffering world, the people who are suffering day in, day night, and all that. And then they are not finding any avenues at times because the medicines which are available are not adequate. And many of them cause so much of side effects and all that, particularly in the cases of terminal cancer and other things. So whatever we get is not adequate in spite of the strides made by the Western medicine. that things are still adequate and people are still unhappy, still suffering, and spending a lot of money and a lot of their hard-earned savings for medicine, and then they are not able to get out of it. So that time, actually, since I was introduced to herbal medicine, and I found that it's very cost effective, and also it is its cost benefit ratio is very high. So that's how I was convinced, because I didn't touch any allopathic medicine till I was 65 years. Till then, I never bought even an aspirin, or I never bought anything. I was self-medicating myself. And then later on, because as my age grew, and then I thought I must depend on some or other Western medicine, because of maybe I was brainwashed, you can say. But one thing about great thing about Western medicine is that it prolongs your life, but it doesn't act on your agony. Your agony remains, your suffering remains, but your life gets prolonged. So people touch even 100 years in India these days. I've got many friends of that age group. So I feel that if you want to live, then you have to go for certain drastic medicine which has a lot of side effects, so that so sometimes side effects are more than the main effect. So we have to choose between devil and the deep sea, perhaps.
How did music therapy come to you? Were you always musically inclined? How did you connect health and well-being and music? Was it based on personal experience? If you can tell us that journey.
Yeah, it was very interesting, because I was introduced to the concept of using music for therapeutic purposes by my meeting in 70s with some people in France, where I was a student, and somehow I got attracted by that, but I was not giving much of importance for that, because it's something like a knowledge transfer, and I just had something notes made, but unfortunately for me, and I lost my dear wife, at a very young age, and I was sort of taken to all sorts of problems then in my life, personal life, and somehow I was not able to move. I was not able to bear with the loss, and I became very highly sensitized by the loss, and I was not able to overcome uh, my own problems in life. So I was rather creating more problem for others. So that's what I felt, actually. So that's why I say wise Wednesday, because I became a wise person, probably not a wise person by problems. And then I had to face music, actually, in my life. So that time I somehow recalled these sort of things. Then I started investing on beautiful music of Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, and all that, in the Western world, and then on which a lot of researches had taken place, and somehow I had full faith in them. And then I found that through those strong tones, because the beauty about Western music, when you compare to Indian music, it's Western music is more masculine, and it uses more aggression. It's like Russia attacking the Ukraine. The music also attacks you. Whereas in Indian music, it softens you, it cajoles you, it sort of helps you, sort of like a mother or something like that. So these strong differences are there, and in my case, the Western music worked wonders. Then, having got some sort of survival sort of feelings, then I started exploring the Indian music, rags and all that, because I was already a student of music in my school days and all.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it was not new for me, but I went much intensified my research and showed more interest in finding out, and then feeling the music, rather than knowing the music.
Yeah.
So when I started feeling the music, then I found it is a treasure on which we are all sitting. And Raga system itself is a unique system in the world with so much of codification, and which you never find in any other system. That any other system cannot compete with the type of codification, the type of brilliance, the Raga system offers to the devotees of that system. So it's something like a religion actually. So when you become more and more faithful, then you become blinded also sometimes for reasons. So that's what happened with me, and I found that the raga system has to be explored further. So that's how this center, Nad Center, was constituted. And then I started writing left and right and center because I didn't have any other passion in life except writing or except listening to music. So perhaps, I've never lived my life otherwise. So I have become an author or something which I never wanted to, and never even dreamt of such things. But it so happened in life. Then today, some people will, like you called me, you wrote or something. I don't think that I have written anything. Whatever happened in me, whatever appeared to me, whatever touched my heart, I started pouring it down,
Hmm. Hmm.
to overcome my problems. So it's a
And
therapy.
yeah. And so when you think of therapy, it's like there is a patient at the center, and then you have a whole ecosystem around them that supports. How do you propagate this idea of music therapy? Who are the partners and the allies you have found to transmit this thought on well-being? Music being a tool for well-being and wellness.
It's a very, very nice question you asked. Actually, if I try to answer this, because I have to answer the title of my book called Self Music Therapy. Because in life, everything starts with self. You know, if my self is zero, the whole world is zero for me. If my self is good, the whole world is good for me. If the self is bad, then the whole world is bad for me. So everything starts from self. So the moment you say music, music has no meaning at all. If you dissect, like the people, zoologists, dissect the animals to find out where is life or anything, by the time they start dissecting, all lives are gone, everything biological degradations. That's what happens. But in music also the same thing happens. Suppose you want to dissect a particular music, and then you have to say that yes, this music, that music, and all that. Then the music also evades the same thing, because music and life are the real mysteries. Nobody has found. Even our brain, is a mystery. And so, what I was trying to say is this, that basically everything starts with self. And if you have faith, it's like a faith feeling. If you feel that even a distilled water is a medicine, and then you devote it, and then you take that medicine, then it works wonders on you. Maybe that could be because I am a scientist. I am from the botanical background. But when I look at music, I am not able to look at in an analytical fashion. I
Hmm.
have to look at it in a double way. I'm on the same time, one part of my left brain, which is for analysis, is working on music, and the right brain, which is emotion, which is musicality, that sees the feelings in music, and both are deciding at the same time, almost the same time. So simultaneously, you get that experience of music. I
So
hope I got you got the point that what
yeah.
exactly music does, nobody knows. How it happens, nobody knows. How we are born, we don't know. Who we are, we don't know. So these are the mysteries in life and music.
So you have in your book talked about some very specific steps to administer self music therapy on oneself. How does this information become accessible, let's say, to people who need palliative care, who are at not in a position to read the book and self administer? So is does the Nada Center also have like a toolkit or something for people to the caregivers or uh, the support to the patient administer this music?
Yes, we've tried our best to formulate, and the process is going on. Even the next week, we are going to have a webinar in June about hospital music therapy, where we are going to work on with doctors and medical doctors, scientists, and also musicians, how we should sort of introduce music in the hospital. So it is a collective sort of research which is going on. It's not one person's whims and fancies, because I am a scientist, so I cannot approve my own fancies. Never, you know. So this is what's going on. And then besides that, you may be happy to know that the NADA Center, through its distance learning program, which right from 2004 we are conducting this through email exchange. Actually, email came as a boon. Although originally we planned for a correspondence course and all that, like old fashioned, then we modernized it, and that helped many people, not only in India, various states of India, of course, not only in various states of India, but also from abroad. People try to sort of join the course, and right now we are having a brand 1 year um, postgraduate diploma in music therapy, which is going on. And so far, we have trained about 500 students, in the last
Wow.
15, 20 years. And then in various parts of India, that's how we made an association, because they are jobless, in India, people are there, but jobs nowhere. So we have to sort of somehow combine this. So we have made an association. We feel that the powers that be, is listen to this uh, lamentation of ours, which may not be musical, but some sort of action is taken by them, because we have personally realized that the person in deathbed needs music in hospices. Then we personally realize the people who are going before the operation or after the operation, both cases they need music. They are just left for latching. This is the very inhuman way we are treating in hospitals, with all those tortures they have already undergone, with scissors and scalpels and all that. Now they have no music in life. So music supplements, actually, and we firmly believe that music is needed for the people who are suffering, and especially for the frustration, for the fear of being invaded, fear of being killed, fear of the pandemic. Everywhere the music gives confidence, music gives strength, so that we believe in, as I told you, we are like a religion. It's like a religion, music therapy, for us and for me particularly. And that's how, but we don't want to be dogmatic. We don't want to propagate something, we personally feel good. So we are trying to throw open to the scientific world, and we write everything. We share whatever bit of information we have. I've written about 500 articles in the last 20 years, and that was my only job which I seem to have done in my life. And I don't regret on that, but at the same time, at the end of it, I feel that that's continuing. Some nowhere, it is no final statement is made, and everything is comma, and not full stop, like that.
Hmm. 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 So, what is your, because we are, this book is part of seven other volumes, right? The self music therapy. There are a total of seven books. So, what are the subjects that you have tried to cover in these seven books? If you can just touch upon them briefly.
Yeah, if I tell the topic, I think that will give some sort of summary. One is called Raga therapy. It's based on our ancient concept of Raga Chikitsa, and which was prevalent in India, and it's also one of the forgotten glories of India.
Wow.
We tried to revive it. We tried to locate even the original manuscript in Sanskrit, which was supposed to be in some Tanjore library or something. I visited half a dozen times from Delhi and other places, Tanjore, but nothing happened. because the Tanjore could not find out that script at all, because I got the mention in some foreign books that that Agachikisa script is in Tanjore, but till today, for the last 20 years, we are searching for the black cat in a dark room, and we are blind.
So that was one. What are the others? Like you have.
Then there are books. One is on medicinal music. There is a book that how music can be profitably utilized as a medicine, and then there is also books. One music therapy digest we have done. That digest is made of all scientific references,
Okay.
like your pediatric, and you have music in uh, pre-operative and post-operative conditions, and
Hmm.
the scientific research which is taking place, but it's not complete because scientific research is going on, and we have only um, touched the tip of the iceberg in that book, so that is not something authoritative, I would say.
What about universities, American universities, etc., have shown interest, like Harvard Medical School and all these? Have they shown any interest in the work?
Because we are publicity shy, because you invited us, so we are here, and we never do the what we call bulldozing, that we don't do on this subject, because we have nothing to sort of, um, we have personally nothing for us,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everyone is comfortable in a comfort zone, and
Hmm.
even our volunteers and all, we cannot, humanly it is not possible unless big institutions like government,
Yeah.
big institutions like Harvard Medical Institution, they take interest, and then they make us run. Perhaps we may run or we may fall down. We don't know.
Yeah.
But that sort of approach is needed. That's why we made this Indian Music Therapy Association. It was created in 2018 in
Okay.
Bangalore,
Okay.
and it is working with about 100 odd members so far. The association. It's a professional association for
Hmm.
all music therapists, but we also include music lovers, because not many music therapists have we have been able to sort of get together, because it's not a profession which has no pay, no allowance, no DA, no TA, nothing is there.
Yeah.
You have to spend from your side, and very few people like me can afford to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, you have been so passionate about this subject, and this has been your life work for the last 20 years. What is it? One of the wishes I hear you say is that for government to take interest, so that this becomes as one of the recommended adjunct ways of healing as alternate medicine, right? That's one of the things that you're hoping will
Yes, we
happen
hope
out of
we
this.
hope because in developed countries, like let us say states, United States, you have a very organized system of music therapy education, music
Okay.
therapy research, and also music therapy practitioners getting dough. They get
Okay.
easily. Unlike in India, you have to go to the platform and start singing, perhaps to take some coins. So that sort of condition we are in.
Yeah.
And so what I suggest is the government should realize that even the developed countries, we can learn from them. It's
Yeah.
not something inferior to learn from anybody. Learning is it can be done from developed nation also, from developing nation also. We have to
Yeah.
learn from everybody. So from their experience, I think we must learn that music is not mumbo jumbo. You know
Yeah.
that we must recognize, and we must honor the people who spend their life, and lot many youngsters are joining this course, music therapy,
Yeah.
and many
Yeah.
of them are very highly qualified in psychology, in with the music background. Actually, we have
Yeah.
doctors with the music background, Carnatic music, dance background. Like that, we have got doctors, and we have
Wow.
got psychologists, we have got psychiatrists, all are together in this Indian Music Therapy Association. and they're
Amazing.
all contributing in one way or that, but their main profession is something, and naturally, you have to concentrate more on your bread and butter rather than
Yeah.
on your soul. Soul means you have to be a recluse and then get out of this world, then only you can think about soul, which also we don't want to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, with the increase in a lot of neurological conditions, with whether it is even Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or dementia on the rise, there would also be some kind of benefit from music, which could be there could be papers and things that are also published, right? What about music for children, babies, infants, also people in trauma, and even so you also have those getting covered as cohorts?
Yes, definitely, because I said music for all. So even the unborn baby is given music, and we have experimented with pregnant women. And the time of conception itself, we started encouraging people to listen to music of their choice. And in one instance, I found one of the ladies in an NRI in United States. Her mother-in-law actually asked my advice. Then I said she must listen to whatever music she likes. So she likes only Western classical. I said no problem, because Western classical is also music. So any music will do. There is no hierarchy in music that only ragas should work and others cannot work or anything like that. We cannot go to that sort of level. We have to internationalize ourselves and broaden our outlook. That's what we are lagging behind.
Yeah.
So I told her that let her listen to, and now that child, which is about 8 or 9 year old, I am told that that boy has already sort of passed many examinations like London School of Music and other things, and he has got some credits for piano and all that, which he has heard even before he was born. And he was very quick with understanding that music and all. That's what the mom tells me. There's just one instance, but in India, I have come across cases where in ancient India, when a woman is about to deliver, then there are two persons they used to invite. One is that Aya, the medical assistants um, for the delivery, and another person is a veena player, and she used to come with her veena to the house where the delivery is going to take place. And particularly, I inquired about the rag part of it. Rags are pentatonic rags like Mohanam, like Hindolam, and all these rags, they were using it for at the time of delivery, so that the mother feels nice and she's able to divert her mind from the point of pain, to the music in that, and then the delivery also becomes very smooth. It seems that the child also doesn't weep much when it is born.
Amazing. Dr. Sairam, this is a topic that we can speak a lot on. We have come to the close of our session, but not before our audience, I'm sure, has become very curious to find out more about music therapy. And I would urge all our listeners to go and take a look at the resource material at Nada Center and do refer what the is potentially possible for people who might benefit. And like Dr. Sairam says, this is for everyone. And the book that we really put into context and focus is Self Music Therapy. So I would urge each one of us to uh, dive into this subject, listen to the music of choice, and be very aware about how we can use it as one more tool to towards our own health and wellness. Thank you, Dr. Sairam, for coming
Before
down
I
today.
conclude, if I say a word, because music therapy is not only for the patients or to prevent diseases. Music therapy is very much needed by our airline pilots. Music therapy is very much needed by the neurosurgeons who open up the brain and then do very complicated operations. Music therapy is needed by the sportsmen, so
Hmm.
that they get into that. So, along with that, I conclude I am very grateful once again that you have taken your time and energy for our common interests. And I thank everybody with you who have helped me, like Nikhil and others. And I wish all the well, with music. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sairam. Thank you. Thank you for coming.